Hi everybody and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name is Rob Evans and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist and internationally published author, helping take your life, your business, your health and fitness and body and your mindset from where you are to where it is that you want to be. And I hope you really enjoyed the last 2 days, the interview with Frank McKinney. Now, when you listen to these interviews, I'm not sure, we all take away different things, but I hope you really put yourself in the zone to really listen to the words that Frank was saying and just imagine yourself for a moment being in his position. We're talking about putting yourself in an environment that is officially the hottest place on the planet. We're talking temperatures that I can relate to, like 50 plus degrees in Celsius, in just degrees. Those numbers don't really mean too much to me. I think it's like 135 or something like that. But 52 plus degrees and then running 217 kilometers or 135 miles. Now today, as we speak, this is timely, it's 36 degrees outside right now. It's 4:34 p.m. in the afternoon on a Monday here in Melbourne, Australia. We're having a couple of days of some really hot weather. We get a cool change tonight. It's 36 now. I think it's probably going to top out at maybe 38. The hottest day that I can remember was the Black Saturday bushfires, which was 47 degrees. The wind was blowing a gale, and it literally felt like that force of hot air you get if you open open the oven door of a fan-forced oven, you get that blast of hot air in your face. Now, just being in that environment, I had to run an outdoor class this morning. It was 32 degrees, and by the end of that class, I was sweating. I wasn't exercising. I was just instructing. I was sweating. I was feeling really tired because of the heat, because I wasn't really acclimatized. It's been a little bit cooler, and I then thought about Frank being in those temperatures, and he said even at night, at midnight, it's still 45 plus degrees, and how you can get your head around the hydration alone in that temperature, never mind actually running as well. I hope that you can really appreciate the enormity of such a feat, and to do it 12 times, like to actually enter 12 times. You heard him say that there were 5 times he hasn't finished, but to put yourself in that environment, I think, man, that's gutsy. That is really gutsy to want to do that. And what an effort to be able to get to the end of it. So what I wanted you to really grasp from that interview was just the enormity of what our mindset is capable of, what our mental toughness is. And you could think about what he's done right now and think, there is no way I'd ever put myself in that position. So I would never be able to do that. Well, the reality is, yes, you could. And it requires training. It requires the nutrition. It requires the support team, all that kind of stuff. It requires acclimatation, all of those sorts of things. But the first step is to make the decision. The first thing is to say, yes, I am going to do that. And then you adapt your mindset and you just become mentally tougher, mentally stronger, more resilient. And so do you think there's anything that Frank's ever going to come across now in his life in any area where he says, no, I can't do that? Because he's been able to push himself consistently over more than a decade to be able to complete something that's so incredibly tough, you know that he's going to be successful because he's determined, he's focused, you know he's going to be able to do it. So then let's take that and say, what can we learn? What can we learn from somebody else's amazing mindset and their mental toughness and their performance? Well, what it makes me think of for myself is, where am I being too soft on myself? What should I have done better that I haven't already? How can I be tougher than I am now mentally? What are the things that I've said perhaps in the past that I wanted to do, but I haven't done because there's part of me that said, do you know what, that's too hard. And I know we've all got those situations, those scenarios in our head where we've passed up on opportunities, or we've said, no, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. Relate this all to your health and fitness, for instance, and you say, well, you might be the successful business person, but for whatever reason, you've never given your health and your fitness, your nutrition, all of that, the true attention that it's really needed. Maybe there's that level of health and fitness, that body that you want, that you've never achieved. Maybe you want to go into, just complete a marathon, or maybe it's a half marathon, or maybe it's a 5 kilometer walk, or a 5 kilometer run, or a 10 kilometer. I mean, me personally, I hate running. I'm not a runner. My knees aren't, certainly my left knee is not strong enough to be able to cope with something like that. But the first thing is you've got to love running. And you heard Frank say that he loves running. I don't love running, so I'm not going to do something like that. But whatever it is for you, it's like what lights you on fire, what excites you, what makes you think, yes, this is something that I'm really powerfully passionate about and I'm going to do. And maybe it's another area of your life. It's not your health and fitness. It's another particular area where you say, this is something that I truly, truly want to do, but I've never done it before. Well, I would say to you this, use the inspiration of Frank. Really push yourself this year in 2021 to get more out of yourself mentally. Let's face it, 2020 was incredibly tough because of COVID, the restrictions, the way we were forced globally to adjust our lifestyles, and still are. I mean, I'm grateful that I live in a country that is like a giant remote island, because we are away from the rest of the world. We're not in Europe. We are not based in the US, where there are so many, there's a population of over 10 times what we have. And now that it's so rampant there, they're not going to get on top of it until everybody's vaccinated, or there's a dramatic change in rules in the way that people live. So I'm grateful that we're out of the worst of it for now. I do believe that it'll come again in maybe in our winter this year. So we're in summer at the moment. So by the time we get to June, July, August, it's going to come back in a big way, and maybe we will get a variant or a variant of the variant. All that uncertainty, we just don't know. But our mental health, our mental toughness has really been pushed in 2020. It continues to be pushed. So how do you keep moving forward? What are the things that you need to be doing? How do you need to dig a little bit deeper to push even further than you did last year? I know that in my country here, certainly in my state, there has been a lot of complacency that has settled into people's mindsets around the fact that 2020 was COVID and now we're in 2021. COVID's over, but it's not over. But people are thinking that they're just going out and they're doing what they used to do. You see that there can be no mask wearing in a number of environments. The rules are pretty lax. You're supposed to be scanning into, like in my facility here, whenever somebody comes in, I get them to scan in, their details are recorded, all of that kind of stuff, so that if we need to do any contact tracing, then bang, the information's already there. Now, for some of our big shopping centres and supermarkets and everything here, it seems like it's an optional thing. It's not compulsory for people to scan in. It's crazy. In order to have a COVID-safe plan, you're supposed to be capturing people's details, and yet these big organisations are not doing it. The big hardware stores, your IKEAs, all of that sort of stuff, they're not capturing the details, but I'm forced to do it, so why aren't they? So there's very much a relaxed mindset here about it, and maybe there are in other parts of the world as well. But to me, that says that people are getting back into their old way of life, if you like, 2019. People are starting to return to work. I think we had a delay of another week before there's going to be another announcement about, at the next level of wave of people returning to work in our cities and stuff. People are still working from home. People are still on holidays at the moment. But it's not going to be long before we're back to that full-blown where we were before in 2019. And my feeling is that people are just going to fall back into those old ways. But there's a tremendous opportunity here to build on the resilience that you built in 2020, to continue that on in 2021 and do even better. There have been so many people that have done so well, and I don't mean like your big conglomerates, the big supermarkets, and the people that have been making them, the face masks and all the medical equipment and all that kind of stuff that have probably made billions out of all of this. I'm talking about the people that have just thrived with their mindset, thrived with their health and wellness, really transformed themselves, focused on their weight loss, focused on what it is that they can do, focused on growing themselves, building relationships, amongst their family, amongst their colleagues, people around the world, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's where my focus went this year. It was very big on connecting with people, building relationships, and doing all those things that we perhaps haven't done so well at in the past. We should be continuing those things in 2021. And I'm not going to be able to travel probably for another 3 years. It just seems that our international travel is going to be really, really delayed. It's going to be one of the last things we're allowed to do, especially now that these variants are coming in. It's going to be really challenging. So I need to prepare for the fact that, I'm not going to be able to network with other people overseas like I've done every year for the past couple of years, except not in the last year, but the 2018, 2019, even 2017, I did a lot of that. And now I can't do any of that in the way that I did before. So that does mean that you're physically not in a place where you can, you're in a room where there's 100 people. Let's just go and talk to as many people as we can. We can't do that. So we've got to find other ways to connect. And we have to do it in a meaningful way, I think, because people are also being spammed by so much stuff, so many connections. In my spam folder, in my email, I would get at least 16 that hit my spam folder every day. In my customer relationship database, I would get at least 30 different spams in there. And then in my email that don't happen to be captured by my spam filters, I would get at least, I'm going to say at least a dozen a day. So what are we up to? Maybe 50 to 60 spam messages a day. They're all different from different sides of the business. Then I'm starting to get them on my phone as well. I'm getting texts. I'm getting all kinds of different phone calls as well from people that are just looking to do business with you in some way. So we've got to do things differently. And we've got to have a stronger mindset to be able to do that. So I really want you to draw on what Frank was talking about. I want you to relate those tough things that he's done to the tough things that you've done or the tough things that you have to do this year. Because all of the first 11 days of 2020, we've been talking about how do we transform our bodies? Okay, how do we transform our health? And the point of putting Frank in the last 2 days has been to really emphasize the mental strength that we've all got, that potential that we all have. The problem is that most of us aren't tapping into it. And a lot of us certainly don't tap into it when it comes to our own health. We can be so caught up in being successful and whatever success means to you, but let's face it, for most people, when it comes to your business, it works out to be money. You measure how successful you are by how much money you make. You can tend to measure your happiness by how much money you make. My appeal to you is to start to relate that same determination, that same focus to your health and fitness. As I spoke about on the very first day, thinking about your body. Think about the absolute ultimate body that you want without any limitations on yourself, and looking at your body with all the things that you don't want. Now, here's the thing that I find. An overweight person will tend to find ways to justify why they are where they are and accept that, that's just where I am and I'm not going to change that. what I want you to do, let me stop there. That can be a defense mechanism for you not kicking yourself in the butt and feeling really sad about yourself. But I think if you're really honest with yourself, you'll find that you're really not happy with where you are right now, no matter where you are. Like, I'm not happy where I am right now. I want to do better. And I'm in the top 1% of health for my age, but I still want to do better. So I'm sure that all of you listening to this want to improve yourself in some way. And even if you've got the God-like or goddess-like body, I'm sure there's an aspect of your health that you would like to improve. So let's tap into that. And if this is the first day that you're listening to me on the Mental Toughness and Body Show, go back 11 days and listen in to the naked truth. That's where I've started 2021 for you. And move forward each day. I've given you some homework every single day. And today, I want you to focus on your mindset. I want you to really think about how hard Frank worked to achieve what he wanted to achieve. And there's probably not one person listening right now that would want to do what Frank did, but he did it. I want you to do your own bad water 135, whatever that looks like to you, the toughest thing that you've ever had to do. And I want you to do that this year for your health and fitness. For me, last year it was getting the six-pack. This year, it's about improving on that, getting a more defined six-pack. It's adding on about 4 kilos of muscle to my upper body as well, so that I can look like the way that I want to look. That may not interest you at all, but it's what's driving me. And that's about my internal health. It's also about my external body. And that makes life exciting for me because it gives me something to work towards. And this is the problem. Most successful business people are so focused on what it is that they want to achieve for their business and keeping on growing and how to get new clients and do all of those things. And yet you don't have that same focus, that same mental toughness, that same energy towards your health and fitness and the body you want. So I'm appealing to you to dig deeper. I'm appealing to you to find something that's really going to thrive you and drive you this year to be something that you've never been before. Because let's face it, if you can get this aspect of your life really down pat as well, then what's life going to look like for you? How amazing are you going to feel? And if you're a really successful business person, I guarantee you can do this too, because business is hard. Transforming your body is hard too. But if you can do one, you can do the other. You just need to find that connection and link the two. Hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. This is exciting, really exciting. But do not underestimate the power of your mindset. And I want you to realize that everybody listening to this right now has untapped potential. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to go to my grave knowing that, wow, I had a great life, but wow, look at all that untapped potential that I left there because I didn't have the guts to pick it up and do what I really wanted to do. I didn't have the courage to say, do you know what? I'm going to really go for something. And if I don't get there, well, I'm still going to be successful because at least I gave it a go. Just like Frank, when he failed 5 times to finish the bad water 135. We've all done that. We've had things where we've said, oh, I can't do it any longer, or you've pulled out, or you've not achieved exactly what it is that you wanted to achieve. We've all had those moments in our life where that's happened. But let's keep pushing. Let's keep digging. Let's keep getting awesome results for ourselves. This is your year, 2021, and I've got your back. Tap in to that currently untapped potential. Now, if you want to have a conversation with me about this in more detail, finding out how you can get started, what are the specific things that you need to be doing, then go to thementaltoughnessandbodyshow.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page Opt in for a free consult with me and let's start a conversation. Let's get you moving. Let's get you those results that you truly want this year. Your fastest way to get there is coaching. I'm your man. I've got your back. Stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow.